Welcome to No Instructions. I'm Bob.
I'm Josh.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing pretty well.
You sure? You had to wind up that one. That was pretty good.
This is the third podcast I've done today. So,
You cast it out?
a lot of talking.
A lot of casting?
It's interesting. It takes a fair amount of focus to have intentional long conversations. You know, like you have conversations throughout the day, even if you work with people, but it's on and off. It's like a little thing here and there, and then you get to do work for a little while, or you pay attention to something else for a little while, and you got to go back. But when you have like 3 one-on-one or 1-on-2 hour-long intentional conversations, I don't know.
I mean, you're an interviewer.
Yeah.
Because whether or not you are along with the conversation, you're still trying to mentally keep it going.
Yeah.
But you just recorded an episode of Brain Pick, so you are the interviewer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mental effort.
It is. And I don't know I wonder if other podcasters have to, like, if it's natural to keep conversation going as an interviewer, not as, like, I think it's easy for the two of us to have a conversation because we would be having a conversation if we were in there. Mm-hmm. But, like, to be the interviewer, I'm constantly listening, but also kind of, like, filtering, like, how can I pull something out of what they just said and turn it into a stepping stone for another piece of conversation or whatever. It's fun. It's kind of like real-time editing, problem-solving type thing, but it's also a little tiring. So,
do you want to say who you were talking to?
Sure. It was Andrew Huang, who's awesome. He's a musician on YouTube. He's out of our, kind of maker area, which is cool. I'm wanting to get some more of those interviews with people who are into different stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one being out. I think it went well. It was good, comfortable conversation.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good. What have you been up to?
Man, I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
Project stuff, like it's... if you were to take a snapshot of the window that is to our left, we've been doing all of that. People can't see. And I've been building a thing that people can't know about and troubleshooting a problem that people can't follow along with. So here, I've been doing a lot, just not a lot that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's all fun stuff that should benefit everybody else. It's in the whiteboard scribbling. It's been a few days of whiteboard scribbles in various ways.
Yeah.
Looking up stuff, trying to find parts, trying to piece out the thing to try to make that idea. I guess maybe this could be a fun conversation about, you mentioned problem solving in an interview, but we problem solve for a living. And so even that, while it's a lot of mental capacity, trying to streamline that problem solving process to focus on what you're doing, focus on the end goal, focus on a problem, and then the in-between, spaghetti it takes to get to the end result. Because, we had an issue with, our footage process. How do we capture footage, how we send it to Forby, and how we get it back. And I got real excited because I got to do some process improvement. And, I was a systems engineer, and so this is stuff that just makes me happy. I get to organize a broken system. So I get to fix a thing. And I got real excited about it. And Anthony and I, that's where all the scribbles and all the other stuff is. But and then in that process, it's we've identified stuff that we need. And then looking around MacGyver style, okay, well, what do we have that can fill that need? And if we don't have it, do we have to buy it? Can we make it? All this is stuff that won't be on camera. Mm-hmm. And you did stuff today that won't be on camera.
Yeah.
And you made a fun comment to me as you walked away.
Well, yeah, I mean, we needed this. So we're setting up a machine. For anybody that wants to know more specifically what we're talking about, we're setting up a machine that is just for taking the footage and putting it into our process. A computer that pulls it off of cards, puts it in the right place, renders it, gets it ready for edit, all the different stuff, and have a central I/O port for all of our footage. And it needed a desk or a place to go. So we talked about using this piece of wood to make a little floating desk, and we need
It's actually the remnants of this table,
That's
of
right,
this podcasting table.
Yeah, it's a piece of butcher block. But it needed brackets to go on the wall. And so I was like, yeah, I'll make some metal brackets that we can put it on the wall real quick. And I went in and I cut some steel and I welded it and grinded it down and then went and put paint on it. And it took me 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was super fast and super fun and easy to make something that wasn't on camera. And I just rarely do that anymore.
And that right there is why my YouTube channel has absolutely stopped. Because the reward, the financial gain of the four of us that I like to make stuff, putting literally anything we do on camera is beneficial. Like, that little thing is not going to be part of a project. It's not part of a story. So just like, we just go do it. You went and did it really quick and it's just done. Most things, it's how can we make a story out of this that can be compelling, that can be inspirational, that can like help other people. That one was super mega specific and wouldn't have really helped anybody. So you just went and did it. But that was very rare, like you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
In my life, I run into little silly family problems all the time. And if I were to make a video about it, it would not reach as many people and it wouldn't be as financially beneficial. So I love solving a problem and just doing it, and not all of the recording and editing and posting and waiting and hoping, like, meh. So people have asked me, when am I going to post a new video? On my channel, never. Because unless I do it live and somebody like super chats me enough money to make me want to do it ever again, I am satisfied with solving a problem.
Yeah.
We're redoing our laundry room right now with some of the leftover tile from the bathroom video. It's super satisfying to get all that done. And the transformation is going to be beautiful. But no one will ever see it unless I decide to put it on Instagram. Because it's in my house, I solved that problem. Hooray, it's the same thing. I'm not going to waste all that time of putting up a camera, editing the thing, having to make a decision really, really fast because of shooting considerations. Like, I applaud everybody who wants to do that. I mean, it's what I do for a living now, here. And so that going home and just solving the issue, it's just so gratifying when you're just focused and just done.
Yeah. I think, some people kind of idealize the YouTube thing as well, in that, now don't get me wrong, it's fantastic in more ways than not. But that, I kind of lost my train of thought now. That, like, doing stuff on camera is more fun because it's going out to people and stuff like that. And I don't know that that's not entirely true. I mean, I think you could look at it from one perspective. You're taking a hobby, something you do for fun, and then you're turning it into a way to make money. And that part is absolutely true. Mm-hmm. But then there becomes a little bit of separation between, how you do something, whether it's for the job or for yourself. Not necessarily the quality, but just like how you're approaching it, whether you think far enough ahead or you just kind of get it done to get it done. I don't know. It's one of those things that's... I wasn't really expecting to have to choose what was content worthy when I was getting started doing this. It was just like, well, yeah, everything I make, I'll just make videos about. But that doesn't really work for several reasons. So anyway, it was fun today to just go in and make a thing, a functional thing that had one job, and it will do that job, and the end.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything special about it that it would even be remotely useful or interesting to people. It was just a thing we needed. So, but like the process stuff for you, I mean, that's the thing that you have training in, and you like you said, it excites you. Is that I don't know, is that something you don't do enough of? Is that something you like more than you get to do? Or is it in small doses? Because I know certain things, I really like them, but if I had to do them all the time, I'd be like, maybe I don't like them so much.
Well, I like order. I really enjoy order. And for most people, the order, the cleaning their house or organizing their car or making that thing that like makes your space really, really useful. When you do that, you get that really exciting sense of gratification. And then you live your life. And then depending on the discipline level or the efficacy of your system that you put in place, it can backslide into just little bits of chaos again. And so sometimes it's just a maintenance thing. But I mentally just really enjoy going into a place that is something is wrong and something is off, and taking all of the stakeholders, sitting down with the people who do the thing every day, people who are smarter than me, and going, well, like, walk me through the process and why do you do a thing like you do? And I'm, like I said last week, I'm super interested in people's thought processes because I love to learn and grow. And like, if something that people have done that I think I would have never dreamed about, I've never thought that would have been in a process, like, is really exciting to me. Like, teach me that. But at the same time, if there's waste, or if it's just like, oh, someone told me to do this, I don't know why. Like, well, let's explore ways that you could do this better. And then you empower that person. So my professional life has always been about trying to make other people better. And me trying to help them get to that point. And so it's asking a lot of questions and offering maybe some clarity. Definitely not expertise in any way. But the thing that we're doing in there, it's asking a lot of questions. And all along the way, not in a super annoying way, we go like, why do I do this at this juncture? Like, is this important to do right here? Mm-hmm. Why do I do this? When should I notify other people that I'm done with this thing? And then trying to make a process in place that makes it easy or intriguing, or I'll even venture to say fun, to do the thing that way. So that way it can happen perpetually. It can happen without it being work. Because if it's work, then people are less excited or less likely to continue that thing once you leave. And professionally, I have cared about that for the person's sake, because I care about people and I don't want to have to do something over again. But I was the one that would walk into a place, being a systems engineer and a process improvement coordinator, they go, this thing is dumb and it keeps failing, or this person has done this thing wrong. It's not a discipline issue. It's not a training issue. Make it better. And so, okay, and you spend some time, and you're like, by Jove, I've got it. We could do it like this and this and this, and it'll save time and save money, and hooray. And now, go forth and do that thing. And then you walk away from it. Those are always my favorite.
Right.
If I had to then be the person responsible for maintaining that system, I was far less engaged. I was irritated. I go, I don't want to do that. Because then it's just, and that was kind of what Lockheed was for me, is I did that, and they went, great, now you're going to be in charge of it. And I go, oh, I don't want to, because there's nothing left. Yeah, I just made it better on like the first day. And now there's nothing to make better. There's no other problem to solve. I just did it. And so then it was in the maintenance phase, and I get really bored when things are just in the routine. Go to work every day, do the little thing. And I've talked about on here where I made a program that could do my job for me. And I did it in like the first month I was there. So then there was nothing else for me to do. And so I wanted to be in that process improvement. I wanted to be in that group of people that a lot of people didn't like, and that's fine. People say it's I'm against the I don't know if you've heard the term good idea fairy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good idea fairy mentality I think is ridiculous. You shouldn't change something just to change it, just to employ yourself. You should change it because something happened and it's a reaction, or stuff is perpetually wrong, or there's ways to make it better. And that's where I really enjoyed that whole process. And so by getting to do that these last couple of days, it's just one of the things that just makes me excited to do. And when I personally am on that, yeah, we did it, and now the thing is better, and for the foreseeable future until either a discipline issue or we just get distracted or whatever, it starts to slip. On that excitement level, I want to go out and I cleaned the whole chunk of the shop, and I want to reorganize things. I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
Until it's time to I don't know, you just kind of stop because you're done, or there's nothing else to fix, or you're in somebody else's way, and it's like, oh, okay, well, now I have to shift focus back to what we were doing. And it's not oh, I'm done fixing stuff, or I'm done putting labels on things. I don't know. It's a different kind of work excitement.
Yeah, well, I think I guess part of why I was asking that is it's one of those things that I think if you were perpetually in that, it would be a little exhausting. Because you do need to I think people need some patterns that they can rest into, and then there's you get too bored there, and then you need to change it up a little bit, have some some additions or some modifications. So it's good. You know, end of year stuff too. We've been kind of preparing for next year, all of that. So speaking of end of year, you put up Christmas lights.
I put up 3/4 of my Christmas lights. While I was doing it, man, I'm not a
joy.
I'm not a Grinch.
Oh.
I'm not a Grinch.
I'm not a Grinch.
But the whole time I'm like, oh yeah, these are all of the reasons why I don't do this. Because I've thought about all of these things and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do now? I go, yep, this is why you didn't start, because I have identified all of these pinch points or problems that I had no solution to. This is why I said no all those other years. But I remember the last time I did it, I ran into the problem that I needed more lights and there were not more of those lights that I needed to continue it to make it uniform. And so this year I went to Home Depot and I'm like, I think I want like the big fat bulbs that I can just evenly space with little clippy things on the gutters. Just clean, simple, warm light. I really like the warm light. I really don't like the daylight LED, very gaudy, shiny thing, which is kind of all you can find now. So I thought I found some, got the clips, but they're 150 bulbs, so it's like 50 feet long. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, viewer, tell me right now, or tell the speakers, like, how wide is your garage or your front porch? And yeah, people go, well, ding dong, you should have measured. And yeah, well, I should have, but I didn't. So there's a situation that we're in. So I have some that are just like, there's remainder of lights in this division of my house, and I don't like it because there's nowhere for lights to go. It's not as clean as I was hoping.
But there's no way that could not be the case.
I disagree. I think that somebody, and if not, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make, like, you have a 2-car garage that is usually about the yay big, like making like a set for certain things. And I understand there's millions of different floor plans for houses. I get that. But a 2-car garage is about, I don't know, 25, 30 feet, whatever, wide. So now I have 150 feet worth of lights, so I have to, like, well, I'll carry that over to this piece. And then it stops in the middle, so I just got to keep going. And then I got to, like, make another 150 feet with this thing. And now I'm not tall enough to get onto the other kind of roof, and I don't have a ladder to get onto the other kind of roof. And so it's like, okay, it's a problem that I have to solve.
But you could buy a 25-foot string of lights.
I didn't know I needed a 25-foot string of
But
lights.
that's my point. Is like, you don't necessarily need a specific garage size if it's about 25 and you have a 25.
Well, I didn't measure beforehand,
Well, okay.
and that's my fault. Understood.
It
But
always
in
ends
my,
up
like, I'm going to do this, I want to make sure I have all of the stuff that I need. I'm like, I want to have more than less. I don't want to come up short and have it look stupid. Well, now I have the problem is I have too much, and one strand is too few, 2 strands is too many. And so
you could cut them off.
Anthony says I can also cut them C7 and C9 to size.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Buffet's tried to pull out a light bulb.
That's his wife, by the way.
Sorry.
For anybody that doesn't know.
She tried to pull out a bulb because I have to jump, like, from my garage to, like, the patio roof, and there's, like, a 2-foot span that's just like, oh, that guy didn't measure, and now there's lights on the side of his house when he's just trying to do the edges of his roof. And so she tried to pull them out, but it got rid of an entire probably 6 or 7 foot length. Yeah, but Anthony says I can cut them, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to shock myself, and it's all going to fail. And I'm going to fall off my roof
before you cut it. That's the key to not shock.
But my neighbor had this pole thing. You seen this?
I don't think so.
It's like
I've seen poles.
It's an extendy pole that has a little bracket on the end that accepts these special, like, gutter shingle clip things.
Yeah.
And then you just, like, extend it and try to slide them under the shingles. So she borrowed that from him. And it takes a special bracket thingy, of course, that I don't have. So my house at night, from a certain angle, looks real pretty. Real pretty. Inside is decadent and beautiful. My wife did a fantastic job. I think it looks outstanding. But while I was up on the roof, I, like, gotta reach out awkward ways and reach this thing, and she's like, "Please be careful." And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. I don't want to jump on the trampoline for a certain reason, but putting lights up for 2 months out of the year is completely worth the risk. Don't get that.
Humbug.
Humbug. Not
Humbug.
My heart just hasn't grown the 3 sizes
Well,
yet.
get on it. It's Christmas time, Josh. What do your kids think of the lights?
I don't know, honestly.
You should ask them.
They're probably going to say
point,
all
right?
the things that I say. They're like, why isn't it done yet? Why it doesn't look finished? Why don't you do that part? And those, you got the medium lights. They're not the real big lights. It's all the same things that I say. Like, we went and stood across the street and stared at it, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I think I just did a bad job of picking lights. If I would have done a better job of picking lights, I think I would have been far more excited.
Well, I mean, I've definitely gotten lights that I wasn't crazy about, and then luckily they're not terribly expensive. So, you know, I use them for a year or two, and then, oops, I accidentally threw them away, like I did this year. Jenny was like, where are the lights for outside? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to those. Actually, I legitimately don't remember throwing them away, but I had to have, because they are nowhere. So I think probably when I took them down last year, I was like, you know what? I don't like these. I'm just going to throw them away. So I bought some new ones this year and put them up. Our roof is very, I don't remember if we talked about this last week. Our roof is very steep.
Yep.
And this was the first year that like I actually felt uncomfortable, like I might slide down the roof and not be able to stop myself. And it was not going up. Going up the one side is fine, but you know, you go up one side, you come down the other on the front of the house, and went up, got to the peak, totally fine. I mean, it's high up there, but the heights don't bother me. But then I start going down the other side, and it's like I feel like something's going to give, and then I'm going to start sliding, and there's not enough, you know, anything for me to stop myself. I can lay down flat, and then I'm just going to be scratched up and hit the ground rather than just hitting the ground. So,
did you do
I didn't follow
the action hero preparation to, like, if I did slide down, I need to spring right before I hit the gutter and land in the bushes, or I'm going to try to tuck and roll. Did you run through that scenario?
No, I didn't. But there's, when you come down that part of the house, there's like a little jut out kind of next to it. So I could have, when I got into the bottom, kind of hopped a little bit onto the side, flat roof. It's not flat, but flatter section, and I would have been okay. So
My house was on a hill, and the precocious part of reaching out over this weird little ledge thing to put in the clips underneath the shingles, like, I was trying to maintain 3 points of contact on my roof, and I'm holding on to the gutter. I'm like, gutter's not super strong. But I'm looking down, and I'm on, like, the second floor. We have, like, a little roof that goes out over the second floor, like in the movies where your kids could sneak out, and, like, get on that roof and then hop down. I was on that part. But I'm looking down the downhill. I'm like, so if I fall off of this, it's not only from the second floor, it's the second floor plus. Like, it's second floor plus, the windows in the basement are down there. So I was like, well, am I old enough to where I'm not going to recover from that? Because I've jumped off roofs before. It's not a huge deal. It probably is now. And
probably
so
not.
I tried to, like, well, I don't think I would duck and roll. I think you just kind of eat it and hope that my knees still work afterward. And then I went, you know what? This is stupid. Just focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's only so many, like, last action hero preparatory tuck and roll mental, you know, parkour I can do. I just need to focus.
if you do fall, when you finish them, just yell parkour, and something will work out. It'll be fine. Parkour!
Your Honor, we talked about me putting Christmas lights up at work. Ergo, it was an extension of work.
No? Oh, look, I found that little light brick.
Dope.
It's got a little
Making a wreath.
light in it. Check
Have
this
we
out.
talked about what we're making?
Not today. So we are both continuing on the Elf Clubhouse Lego set. And it's a pretty cool little set. I just got to the part where you put in the bunks for the beds. And you can have them, there's a little knob. I don't know if you can see this. Where's my
I was
camera?
wondering what that knob thing is for.
Well, it dumps the elves out of their beds. So
wow.
when you turn this, the little bed leans forward and it dumps everybody out, which is kind of an odd thing, but funny.
We decorated Christmas cookies the other day. My wife wanted to make like the perfect sugar cookie recipe, which I was very excited about because that's something that just makes me happy when you get to cook and you try to like make the quintessential version of a thing. Well, I don't know if I've mentioned this on here. One of the things I've asked for Christmas was a blank cookbook so that I can pencil write in my perfect versions of the things that I like.
Do they sell blank cookbooks?
They have a format, but so it's got like an ingredients area.
Oh, huh.
It's structured,
That's neat.
but obviously there's nothing in it, and you write your stuff in it. And so she was trying to make the perfect sugar cookie, and she had certain criteria, and she was like, no, because every time I do sugar cookies, they're wrong, because the recipe says to wait till they're golden.
I use
She's
salt
like, they're
instead, every time.
overcooked. Well, that was one thing. We were doing it. I'm like, it could use a little bit of salt. She's like, I thought so. So we did that, and then we got out the piping bags, like did a little, nipped off the little tiny corner so we could do like very intricate, and all the kids got into it, and so we made Christmas cookies and then drove through the light display here in town and made a night of it. It was fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked several times recently about driving around and looking at Christmas lights. When I was growing up, there were tons of Christmas lights here, and you'd see them in the evenings, but like we're not out in the evenings often, so my kids don't really get to see them that
Yeah,
much.
my kids don't understand driving at night.
Yeah, it's just like it's not something we do a whole lot of. And so on Christmas Eve, growing up, my grandparents would come over for dinner, and like they wouldn't go to my two uncles' houses. They always came to our house. When I always thought that was kind of cool. It was like we got to spend an extra little bit with our grandparents. So they would come over for dinner. They would bring us each one present, like on Christmas Eve, which was super cool because none of the other cousins got that. And then we would get in the car, go to the Christmas Eve service at church, and then drive around and look at Christmas lights. And that was our Christmas Eve every year, until, gosh, I don't know, maybe my sister went to college or something like that, when there were just fewer of us. But I realized that, like, we've never really done that. With our kids, Christmas Eve is always, dinner or something at home. Maybe grandparents will come over, but then we just kind of stay there. We try to get them in bed and everything.
Last couple of years, you guys have been at our place.
Yeah.
For the thing.
Yeah. So this year, I don't know if we'll do that on Christmas Eve, but it got me thinking when I was thinking about that, like, my kids don't see the Christmas lights around town because we're never out at night. So between now and Christmas, we were supposed to start last week, I was going to take one night a week, and then just like after dinner, it's already dark at like 5:30. Yeah. Get in the car. We're going to go to a neighborhood. We're going to find a big neighborhood in town that has a bunch of lights, and we're just going to drive through and look at them, and then come home. And do that once a week, for a couple weeks before Christmas, and then they get to see some of the lights. So we need to...
You can come on over to my house and check out the mega display.
Come over and complain about, like, man, he didn't finish putting his lights up.
The lights aren't done yet. Bum.
Well, are you going to finish them? Or are you just kind of like, that's how it is for this year?
No, I'll finish them. It got like super duper cold.
Yeah, it did get pretty cold.
And I put on my heated jacket, so like I was okay. And then it was really windy and rainy. And
so that's
I'm
not
like,
a great time
I
to be
should
on the
not
roof.
be on the roof.
Yeah.
There's the part of me, the process improvement thing that I mentioned earlier. My wife thought it was funny that I got the little clips, and all of my little clips and all of my lights are perfectly evenly spaced. And I'm like, yay, this makes me happy. And she went, well, we can just not finish it today. We can just finish, a section later. She was encouraging me because it was getting cold and dark to like stop. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I know that you can't do that, but this is me just trying to be nice and helpful for you to take a break. And so like I got to a point where I could not advance anymore. And I think that more than the lights themselves just bugs me.
I see.
So I put everything on a smart plug so that they turn on at a certain time. And we have our beautiful interior lights and everything are kind of on a central smart plug. And so I made a routine that whenever I'm ready to go to bed, I just say humbug and it turns everything off.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's on brand. So yes, I want to finish. I plan on finishing. I just got a new smoker, so that was more incentive for me not to care about the goofy lights in front of my house.
Yeah, have something else to do.
Yeah. So now that thing is set up, it's time for me to figure out how I'm going to do that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can, or you can just that's the way it is this year. It didn't,
No.
I didn't.
Oh, my goodness.
No, you can. See, you say you can't. Tiffany says you can't, but you can.
I mean, it's, I guess, physically possible for me not
it absolutely
to
is.
go in.
It's a cost benefit thing. Well, like we talked about this earlier. Like, it may not be worthwhile to try to force it to be fixed this year if it's good enough. And the reason I'm getting to that is that somebody, like my kids or some other kids, are going to drive out one evening to go look at Christmas lights, and they're going to drive past your house, and they're not going to go, man, why didn't he finish those lights? They're going to go, oh, look, that one has lights. That's cool. That's pretty. All right, let's keep going on to the next one. And they're going to enjoy it just because you took the effort to do what you've done now, even if you don't finish.
That's very encouraging.
And
I
it's the
appreciate
truth,
that.
No matter what you think.
Okay.
I mean, you can disagree, but it is the truth that somebody will enjoy it.
So, with my purchase power, I was at Home Depot, and I had the lights in my cart, and then I looked over at the lit deer on display after the conversation we had with Matt.
Yeah.
And I went, I could just get deer.
That's true.
And I can just leave them out there for any of the
all year long.
The youths and the street toughs to come and do what they want to with the 2 lit deer, Christmas deer in the yard. And that can be our display for the year. Because that in itself is focused and kind of funny, and I don't need to do anything else. It's like the person who made the little cutout of the Grinch and just like a single strand of lights where the Grinch was pulling them, like the Grinch had already taken everything off of their house. It's the simplest and the laziest and the most effective and perfect. That is the perfect outdoor Christmas display in my mind. It's topical, so good.
What about those? The little like projector light thingies?
I don't like those.
I don't like them either. But that is a thing that you could like stick in the ground and plug in, and you're done.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I don't know. I don't like those. I've never liked those.
I'm not a fan of them either.
I like the dangly lights. I like my lights to be warm. My neighbor, who I guess I'm doing all of this for, and for your 4 kids who are going to drive by my house and apparently be wowed by my 3/4 of lights, I'm doing it
That's not what I said.
for them. And so I look at his house, and he's got the icicle-y ones that are just the normal, warm, incandescent bulbs. I'm like, I want that. I should have done that instead of what I am currently doing. And so it could be like, oh, maybe next year. And then I don't know what to do with 5 sets of 50-foot lights because I don't know how to estimate the length of my house. I can decorate a strip mall apparently from the lights that I made or lights that I bought. But like that's what I want it to look like. That nice warm, nice glow.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's like one of those where you just have to get something and see how it looks.
Yep.
And then, next year get something different. The colored lights that we got a couple of years ago, the ones that I threw away last year, we got colored lights for our tree. And I thought, well, this box is about the same. They're the same size. They're colored LED lights. They have a nice glow to them, so I'll get these as well. And it turned out that instead of, like, they were identical, except instead of a kind of frosted colored plastic, they were clear. So the same colors, but like not, I don't know. They just had like a flat kind of.
That's what these LED, the warm LEDs.
Yeah.
They have like a diffusion on them, and they just look flat.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't like them for the same reason. So I used them for a year or two, and then I threw them away.
And I think that's what it is. Like this being the first year in many years that I'm going to do this, that I'm going to decorate the house, and I'm just like don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think
it's not a lot
you're
of
right.
incentive.
I need to chalk it up to like I don't want to stop where I currently am, but I'm not married to it. I can do it again, and maybe it's incentive to do it right or do it better.
Or like I don't. Maybe it's not your thing too. That's absolutely possible. But maybe there's a way next year to like get the kids involved in the process or something.
I got
a way to make it.
We hung. We have
put them on the roof.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have 5 windows. Like the front of our house that's on the second floor, and I hung wreaths on them, and it's like I said, that little roof on the front where the kids' windows are. So I was out on the roof right in front of my daughter's bedroom, and she's like, "I want to come out there." My 5-year-old, I'm like, "All right, put your shoes on, let's do this." And so I held her hand the whole time, and she was very wobbly and very restrained. And I'm like, "You can go inside if you're uncomfortable." She's like, "No, I love it," but she was just like super stiff and wouldn't move. But she was super excited to be out on the roof, and then I had to reiterate to her, you will not come out on this roof without me, because I know you, and she will.
Do you have an alarm on that window? You might want to get an alarm on that window.
But I didn't show her how I took the screen off.
Ah.
So I'm hoping that the screen, because it comes out of the window in a very awkward way. It's not that you can just like raise the window. You have to like tilt the window to get the screen out. So I'm hoping that will offer the slightest bit of mental barrier to prevent her from jumping out of the roof or jumping out of the window.
Yeah, I hope so.
But I know her, and I don't think that's the case.
Well, let's see. So next week, Matt's coming back. I did talk to him.
Okay.
So we are going to talk about Mandalorian season 2. We're going to wrap it all up.
I wanted to talk about The Mandalorian.
Let's do it.
One point in particular about the last episode.
Okay. This is spoiler territory, obviously.
Yes, this is spoiler territory for the last episode with Bill Barr. Bill Burr?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Bill Barr as the old Attorney General. So he was like an ex-Imperial sharpshooter. Mm-hmm. And in the episode, they have to like secretly infiltrate this Imperial base to get this thing. And he's sitting down. And he's like, whoa, there's my old commanding officer, whatever guy. And he calls him over and he sits down and you see him like have that interaction with someone that he used to know and that he apparently vehemently disagreed with and had a negative effect on his life. And spoiler, again, turns out and shoots him. That whole interaction, he was like, oh, you were at the battle or whatever. And that guy was like, oh, yeah, we should have done that to these people. And like kind of boasting about the things that they did, these kind of atrocities. That right there was almost exactly why I left my job at Lockheed. Like, I knew exactly how that scene theoretically should play out. I projected super heavy. And then that, like, somebody was boasting about a thing that was something that people I don't think should be proud of. And I remember, like, yep, that was the exact moment. I didn't pull out a blaster and start shooting him. But I'm like, good. That's it. Right there is the moment. And I remember going back, I'm like, I don't need to do this job anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I related to that moment, and it was good. It was really good. I think Bill Burr did an extremely good job.
Yeah, I know he's a comedian. I know he's famous and stuff, but I really don't know him.
Who knew nothing about Star Wars?
Yeah. He did a fantastic job on that episode. It was great.
I wanted to see him get back on the ship and keep going.
Yeah, I did too. Like, that's really surprising, because it felt to me, I read this somewhere like a couple episodes ago, like, they're taking such heavy influence from Magnificent Seven Samurai, stuff like that, that they're building a team to go after Gideon at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And it would have made a lot of sense. Like, if Ahsoka had come along, Cara Dune came back, Fennec, Boba, Bill Burr, they're building all of the sharpshooter, the muscle, the smarts, the whatever. And they build this team up, and then they go in as a team and finish the thing. And so when Ahsoka didn't go with them, I was like, well, okay, they must have somebody else. And they're like, oh, Bill Burr, cool, they got a sharpshooter. Oh, he didn't go. How's this gonna work? So I guess I just had the wrong idea there, but that was a little surprising to me. So, predictions. Do you have any predictions for the final episode?
No, because I am usually wrong.
No, that's okay. They don't have to be right. Just, do you have any ideas?
I love that Din Djarin sent out a threat proactively. He's like, I'm gonna send him a little hologram. You give me my kid back, or I'm coming to get you. Easy.
Yeah.
I love that. There have been very few times. Well, I don't want to say that. It was one of those few times in Star Wars where the rebels or the people who were not the mean overlord empire took it to them, which I like. Predictions.
I'll go ahead.
It's Disney, so Baby Yoda is not going to die.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a little part of me that's like, my dad brought this up at lunch today. My mom and dad watched the show with us. He was like, it's called The Mandalorian. It's not called Baby Yoda. Like, that kid could die and set it in a whole different direction. I don't know that he will, but that is a possibility. You talk about flipping a series on its head.
Yeah.
That would do it. And then it turns into like John Wick in space, where the Mandalorian just ravages the rest of the people who killed his baby. I don't know.
So my son has a thing. Anytime anybody in the show is mean to Baby Yoda, it's annoying in the moment. But he goes, if something bad happens to Baby Yoda, everybody's going to revolt and Disney is going to go bankrupt. And I don't know where he's getting this, but it's this one-liner, not even one-liner. He just says it repeatedly anytime somebody is mean to Baby Yoda. And so when you say that, I'm like, oh man, Disney's going to go bankrupt. My son will see
Totally.
to it. He will be holding the button to bring it all down.
Well, another little thing and this is not my original idea, I just read about like that Ahsoka not wanting to train him potentially sets it up to where he won't get trained because he will just go down a dark path. So that could go two ways. Either he doesn't get trained at all, or he does go dark, go bad. Yeah. And like there was even one kind of theory out there that like Luke Skywalker could theoretically show up to train him, take him under his wing, take him off, and then that would put Grogu in the school of young Jedi that Kylo Ren kills. And check this out. Check this out. This is pretty good. Oh yeah, he killed everybody in the school. When he says in Force Awakens, "Grandfather, I will finish what you started." Mm-hmm. Anakin went into the Jedi Temple to kill the younglings and did not kill Grogu.
Would be. That's pretty heavy foreshadowing.
It's out there. Oh yeah, they wouldn't have figured that out till after the fact. But
I saw something about Grogu potentially becoming
evil Yoda.
Evil.
Yeah.
And I think Ahsoka not wanting to train him is pretty on brand for the Jedi. I don't think there has been a single time where any Jedi, other than Qui-Gon, and even Qui-Gon passed off Anakin. But like, Yoda didn't want to do it. Mace Windu didn't want him to do it. There's so many people that don't want to like, oh no, I'm not. Yeah, I can't train him. You're too old.
Yeah.
Or you're his padawan. No, I can't do that because of whatever reasons. Like, they want a lot of inside information. They want to hold it close to chest.
Well, like,
so when she went like, I can't train him. I'm like, oh, duh. Look at there. Another Jedi can't train anybody.
Did she say she can or she didn't want to? Because I assumed that she had been, like, having seen Anakin fall, then she just didn't have a lot of faith in that people could, like, that they could be on the edge and go to the good. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure. I have a feeling, my only real prediction is that at the end of the episode, it's going to be a very Empire Strikes Back ending. Something we don't expect, and it's going to end on a, what? Like, you can't stop the season there. So either somebody dies big time, like one of the major characters dies, which is probably Boba Fett, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Either that, or they almost have Grogu, or they have him, and they can't get off the ship with him, and then they lose him, and then the episode's over. Like, I think it's going to be a big, heart-wrenching kind of thing, and then a cliffhanger in a bad way.
Ooh. What if it has to come down between Din Djarin having to choose the kid or choosing Mandalore? Because the Darksaber's in play. Princess What's-Her-Name is in play.
Princess What's-Her-Name?
The Princess of Mandalore, the girl with the red hair.
Bo-Katan?
Yeah, Bo-Katan. Like, I imagine he's going to end up with the Darksaber in some fashion. And so he could either, like, be the leader of the Mandalorians or take care of the kid, or I don't know. That's what I see. You have to do, and you have to respond to the steadfastness, the discipline, the creed, the fervent thing that you stuck to this entire time, or you have to take care of that kid.
See, I don't think there's any question about that. He didn't want to rule Mandalore.
Maybe not rule Mandalore, but like you have to either be the Mandalorian or not be the Mandalorian. So maybe not like ascend Pride Rock to take over the creed, but I think it's going to have to come down to he has to choose the creed or choose the kid. Because this latest episode, he had to give up a little bit. He had to put aside some of that steadfastness for the cause. And so it's letting people know automatically that he can make a calculated decision, even though he is visibly uncomfortable the entire time that he's doing it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it. It is against his nature to go against the creed for whatever reason. And Bill Burr was like, I didn't see anything. Like, that was cool of him. Hooray. But he's had to compromise his
beliefs.
His morals, that code. And so being exposed to it in the last episode, I think, sets up the last episode that's coming up in a couple days, where he's going to have to make that big decision.
Yeah.
To let it all go.
I could see that.
For the sake of the kid.
One thing that I think is super impressive, Pedro Pascal, it's only the second time he's had his helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of his acting has been voice in season 1, body language and voice in season 2. But I don't know if you paid attention to his face when he had his helmet off. And it was acting, and he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But he had the facial expression of somebody who has never had to expose their face. He didn't know what to do with his eyes. He wasn't looking through the same set of lenses that he typically, like literal lenses that he typically looks through. He didn't know what to do. And there was a really big shift in like his shoulder holding, he couldn't like get words out and stuff. And then as soon as he put that helmet back on, he started like, all right, this way. Like, man, it was good. That dude's a good actor. I don't know a lot about him. I've never seen him in anything else, but
he was in
that was cool.
Narcos.
Yeah, I know he's been in stuff, but I've never seen him yet.
He was really good in that show.
But I thought that was really impressive because it wasn't just like, oh, well, I guess everybody's seen me. I'm just going to be the cool guy now. Yeah. He was like messy and he was like looking down the whole time. And
yeah, you could tell that he was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that he was wrong. And you could tell like the whole time he was like, everything is wrong right now. I just want to go. I don't want to be in this situation. And you could feel it.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine that? Like nobody seeing your face, you being hidden would become, since he was a kid, would become such a, I'm going to say mask, not literal mask, like a way to hide. You have defined yourself.
It's protection. Yeah.
And you don't care about what you look like. You don't care about what your mouth is doing, or if you have boogers hanging out of your nose, you don't care about what you're looking at. You can look at anything in the room and nobody knows what you're looking at. Things like that. And then all of a sudden to have that stripped away. I mean, that would just be like, I'm going to go to the store and all of a sudden I'm naked and I have to figure out how to deal with it because I've just never done that before. Man, it's kind of crazy to think about. When all the mask stuff started, I know we said we're not going to talk about COVID anymore and masks, and we're not. But that was one of the interesting things. The first couple times I went to the store in a mask, I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, nobody knows who I am. Not that people know who I am anyway at the store. I don't mean it that way. But it's like I could pass by someone that I actually know and they wouldn't recognize me probably. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. Anyway, so any other predictions for...
No, those are my big ones. Is I think that he's going to have to make a decision between the kid and the way.
Yeah, I could see that.
And that's I'll be purposely vague because I'm historically wrong about plot twists in the Star Wars universe.
Well, I think Boba Fett's going to die.
Yeah, I think so too because he's got to have a ship.
Yeah, he's going to inherit Slave One. I don't know what's going to happen to Finnick. Maybe she will become one of the Rangers of the New Republic.
She was. I saw her in one of
She's in the Bad Batch.
Yeah, the Bad Batch.
Yeah. But that other show, that Rangers of the New Republic, is supposed to be like a spin-off of Mandalorian. So that...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ahsoka...
I heard that people were predicting or hoping that was going to be the buddy comedy of the whole lot.
I mean, maybe. But my feeling is because it and Ahsoka and Mandalorian are supposed to intersect in the shows touch each other, then I think that's going to be like Cara Dune has her badge now. She's legit. So she's going to build up a group
Cara Dune, Texas Ranger?
Yeah, I guess so. They're going to go, knock heads and keep order and stuff, I guess. And so maybe she'll bring Finnick in to be, legit law enforcement. Yeah, or something like that. So I don't know. But I think we've seen just about the last of Boba. And he'll do something really heroic and selfless to set himself out as, noble.
Worthy of the praise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. But I'm excited.
He would have to do it for the kid.
I'm also not excited. I don't want it to be over.
Well, he would have to do it for the kid because he has to fulfill his quest.
Yeah, I think so. Which is also, kind of doing it for another Mandalorian. Like he'll sacrifice himself for that commitment.
What if he goes back into the Sarlacc pit and then just raises, like Baby Yoda gets chucked into the Sarlacc pit. Boba Fett dives in there because he's been in there before.
Wait a
he
minute.
knows the way out.
I know
And
my
then he
way
just,
around down here.
Single hand raises the kid up, and then the Sarlacc chomps the arm off.
Ooh.
And then it's like, no, he didn't get out of that one. And spits his armor back out with his severed head still in it.
Well, there you go. That's Josh's.
Yep, that's happening.
Yeah, totally.
Disney's getting dark.
All right. Well, we got anything
Or maybe
else?
he'll be sucked out into the vacuum of space and then just like fly back and be completely fine.
Yeah, probably. It's happened before. Got anything else you want to chat through?
I don't think so.
Cool.
This set is really fun.
This is pretty fun. I'm almost done with it, I think. Another bag. Maybe another show's worth.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was trying to do the math on how many shows we have before Christmas and whether these will be finished beforehand.
Maybe. Oh, we got the one next week with Matt. That's probably it. So.
Yeah. Do we need? Is Matt gonna get a set? Is
I don't
Matt gonna
know.
build a thing because he did a great job of leading this while we were giving 7/8 attention.
Yeah, but I think it would be interesting. We can play a trick on him because he probably doesn't listen to this, so he won't know. We can play a trick on it. Not play a trick, but we can make him get a set so he realizes how difficult it actually is to speak intelligently and build a Lego set at the same time. Because he'll come back and be like, yeah, I'm just going to talk again and say all my smart, literature stuff about the Mandalorian, and these two idiots are going to sit there and play with their toys and listen, like we did last time. And if he has to build something, then he'll realize that it's hard. Or he'll just get to build Lego. Either way would be cool. All right. If you would like to hear the after show for the upcoming Brain Pick with Andrew Huang, it is exclusive to the Maker Alliance.
The Maker Alliance has upset us a little bit.
Why?
Because we talked about the episode that we did with Matt being available to the Maker Alliance, and we haven't. Because I think you posted that one, and then I forgot to do it after the fact, so we have to do that.
Oh, my bad. We will get that out to you.
Yeah, this is an official my bad to all of the Maker Alliance.
But the Maker Alliance is an awesome group of people that,
Forgive us when we mess up.
they're awesome in a bunch of different ways. But we hang out with them on a regular basis on Discord. They get to see videos early. They get to hear after shows for podcasts when we have them and stuff like that. And big thanks to all of them. If you want to join that crew of people, you want to jump on our Minecraft server, you can do that as well. Go to iliketomakestuff.com/join. Where can people find you on the internet?
At Josh_makes_stuff.
And you can find all of us at I Like to Make Stuff on all the stuff. Which, I gotta admit, I've been a little less active on social stuff lately. End of year, kind of running out of steam as far as promotion and all those things. But we're still around. We're still there. We're still posting. So, we'll see you over there. And we'll see you next week. We'll talk with Matt about The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Bye-bye.